Hello and welcome to Becoming Enchanted, a podcast all about ways to bring enchantment and healing into your life. I am your host, Stacey Leigh. Join me and my co-host, Andy Andrews, as we journey into the hearts and minds and discuss topics related to spirituality, the supernatural, esoteric knowledge, mysticism, psychology, and so much more. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Tonight, I have someone very personal to me, very special to me. She is my Reiki master, Rickie Freedman. She's a Reiki master teacher and a physical therapist. For 30 years, her focus was on integrative approach to holistic wellness. Rickie's specialty is Reiki by Rickie, gentle touch, deep healing. Rickie offers sessions and shares workshops and Reiki classes, all levels, including Reiki for healthcare professionals and Reiki Kids, which is wonderful. She created and opened Harrisburg, PA's first Reiki center, Reiki by Rickie, Reiki Space and Learning Place in 2013. She is a certified Reiki sound and Reiki voice instructor. She is a certified holistic health coach and guides other holistic healers with their mentorship program, Follow Your Heart and Do It Smart. And there's a whole bunch more I will let her talk about. But her mission is to bring inner peace of living the Reiki experience in a grounded way to the world. Her motto is, I don't do Reiki, I live Reiki. And yes, I can attest to that is it. And she has been my mentor and guide since I got into the Reiki field. So welcome, Rickie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be with you, and thank you. It feels really meaningful to my heart as well, Stacey.
I know you have a lot. You are a big space in my heart, huge space in my heart. So hello, Lori, and like I said, we are live, so I'm just saying hello to some of the ones that are here. Hi, Dave. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Trista.
Hi, Rachel.
And Rachel. So if anybody has questions, they can leave them in the comments. And I think we're actually going to talk a little bit about special topic tonight, but I think Andy had a question for you. We were talking earlier. He kind of wanted to know like how you got started, your background stuff. Like, I'll let you go ahead with that, Andy. Like, you did have a question for her.
Yeah, I was just asking. I mean, I'm learning through Stacey, obviously, a little bit about Reiki and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm friends with Pam Berry as well, who's a Reiki master. And so kind of guess my question is, before starting and then after starting, what maybe got you into it, as well as, the difference that you feel maybe in yourself now since you started that and later on.
Wow. So I've been doing this for a long time. As Stacey mentioned, I'm a physical therapist by background, which is another form of hands-on healing. So it was a great lead-in for me. Definitely meant to be a relationship and people connection person. And with physical therapy, you get to be with people for lengths of time. So I was born and raised in Philadelphia, but I moved to a small rural conservative college town called Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, for those of you who know it. And that is where I started learning Reiki. And how it happened was friends of mine took a Reiki class from someone who came down from New York. There was nobody in Lewisburg that was doing Reiki or teaching Reiki at that time. I actually never heard of it, but they asked me to babysit for their son. And so I did them a favor, and then they came home from their class and practiced on me.
Nice.
And I was going through a really intense personal time, as we all do on our journeys. And the Reiki had a deep and profound personal, emotional effect for me. And so I initially took Reiki 1 for my own personal emotional healing because I could tell that something very deep and profound was happening.
Nice.
So honestly, every Reiki class I took, I really thought would be as far as I would need to go because, it was so dramatic in my life and to blend in with my physical therapy work. But when something is meant to be for you on your path, the universe finds a way to help you move forwards, and you can either listen and lead it, or you can be pushed along. And I had a little combination of both of those things. So I actually moved through all the levels of Reiki very slowly, which I really love that in retrospect.
Right.
And even as I teach, I'm not what I call a fast food Reiki master. I like each level to process and integrate and have people use it and be guided to the next step, not just because it is the next step. So I really took maybe 4 or 5 years to fully become a Reiki master teacher. And I actually started my first Reiki practice in Lewisburg. I was doing both Reiki and physical therapy and blending both. So I was joining the worlds, so to speak. And in fact, my first business card, I had a rainbow as the theme. Obviously, all the energy colors, but also the joining of Eastern and Western and complementary and traditional medicine. So that felt very meaningful to me right away. I initially opened a room in my home and started just sharing Reiki with friends and coworkers, my people I worked with at the nursing home where I shared physical therapy. And then one of the nurses who was my client opened a little wellness center on Market Street in Lewisburg, first one in that area. And she asked me to come share Reiki there, which at the time felt like a huge decision to me because I knew that I would need to start charging for Reiki services. Initially, it was all love donations. And, nobody heard of Reiki in Lewisburg. I wasn't sure how it would fly. But, I love this work, as Stacey was saying. When I share with people about this, my energy radiates and people really felt it. And Reiki started to attract more than anything else they were offering there, which just blew me away.
And
It
if
was.
you ever went to the Reiki space, you would feel that energy. Like there's just like this magnet there that attracts everybody. It really does.
Well, Stacey, when you find your person,
Yeah.
your Reiki person, your Reiki teacher, there is an electromagnetic connection, right? It's a resonance
Yes.
frequency. So, yeah, and the space itself has beautiful energy. But anyway, that's where I started my Reiki practice. And I was intuitively, clearly guided to come to Harrisburg in 2008. And I listened after working through my stuff about making a move because it was a really big deal.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody. I knew one person in Harrisburg, and nobody talked about Reiki. Nobody had a Reiki practice. And the second that I made the move here, I got a lightning bolt inspiration that said it's time to let go of the security blanket, which was my PT work. So I was getting job offers left and right, and I listened to my guidance. I never responded to any of them, and I just trusted. It was a walk of trust.
That's awesome.
And it was, yes, it still is. It still is that way,
I know. I literally have chills right now because it's
I
like
know. I mean,
your
I just
path.
know that my job in all this is to say yes. And the more it makes me squirm in my seat, the more I know I have to, whether I can logically, or, figure it out with my thinking mind or not. It's what's meant to be. So I initially went into someone else's practice until I was ready. The universe told me I was ready to open Reiki Space and Learning Place. And we're 10 plus years now, which is absolutely amazing. We're still growing and expanding. And so, the second part, and that's a very short, condensed version of that story. But the second part is, yes, it's been life-changing for me personally. both as far
Right.
as, being blessed to be guided to my life's work, right? What I'm meant to be sharing in the
Right.
world. But also, I've gone through some pretty dramatic life experiences. And Reiki has been the anchor for me. I mean, what we call the Reiki healing principles, which are a way to be in the world conscious of your energy so that you can um, be a healing presence,
Hmm.
right? Radiate that energy.
And I'll share those on my Facebook page later for you guys, so you guys can see
Okay,
them. They're
awesome.
similar to the four agreements, but they have their own energy.
Well,
So,
the truth is the truth with a
hmm,
capital T. It's in
yeah,
every culture and tradition, really.
hmm,
This is just the Reiki way of
yeah,
expressing it, to remind us every day, right? Where do we want our thoughts to be to attract what is
hmm,
for the highest good for ourselves, each other, and the world,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, these Reiki principles literally come to me and speak to me when I need to be reminded, right?
Same
And,
here.
are these just words, or are you really going to live by this, during the most challenging parts of our lives when it's easy to let that fall by the wayside, but that's when we really need it the most. So, yes, it's been life changing and almost literally life saving for me personally, as well as, when you go through these types of experiences, people are subconsciously attracted to your energy, whether they are conscious and aware of those things, because you are able to empathize with them and can, that helps their healing.
It's absolutely true. So I know we're here to talk about like the Reiki of Star Wars. That's kind of what we wanted to talk about. But if you could, in one or two sentences, explain to those who don't understand, because I mean I can do it as well, but I want to hear it from you as being my teacher. What is Reiki? Like the simple version.
Yes, and that's really all we can do here because it's a very intuitive process to tune into what
Yes.
people need to hear in their way. So, Reiki is a very gentle and very deeply relaxing hands on healing, originally from Japan, now practiced worldwide, primarily for stress management, right? Stress
Hmm.
underlies most of our doctor's visits. Finding and learning our place of inner peace so that we can take ourselves there easier and stay there a little longer. And the essence of Reiki is a balancing practice, right? To get us into a better place of balance, connected and grounded, balancing ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, electrically, energetically, so that we can face life's challenges from that center, solid, grounded place. So a Reiki session, is a very relaxing experience with a client lying on a massage type table, but fully clothed, comfy, cozy under a blanket. And the work itself is very gentle, stationary, light touch, as well as balancing off the body in the energy field. We're made of energy and our energy radiates. That's how we kind of feel and sense each other. And it takes people to a very deep place very, very quickly, either a meditative place or they say they fall asleep, but I call it Reiki anesthesia. It's it's deeper than sleep. It kind of just puts them right under. And
Andy's had Reiki, so he can
Yep.
attest. Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah. So my job in all of this is to do my own daily work, which Stacey, I'm not even sure you know this, but I now call this Reiki aerobics, which I'm happy to tell you about that if you like.
I think I remember hearing a little bit about that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's to do my works to keep myself as balanced as humanly possible. and so that I can continue to be a healing presence for others. Because the unique thing about Reiki as a form of energy work is the energy flows through me and not from me. So it never drains my personal energy or anyone who's doing Reiki and doing their own work. And you never take on anyone else's stuff. So for people who are sensitive, which a lot of people who are attracted to this work, it becomes what I call an energy management system, allowing them to stay very heart-centered and connected. This is really heart-centered work, and never give away their personal energy and become drained, so that they can keep their own energy up and, support their own immune system and wellness. So that in essence is about Reiki sessions, but Reiki is more than that. For people that choose to move forwards on the Reiki path, it's about moving, like you were saying in the introduction, Stacey, from sharing Reiki to living and being
Reiki.
right? Conscious of the energy of every thought, word, emotion, and attitude, and how that affects your own personal well-being, how it affects each other. And the more of us that do this, how it affects the world,
The
creating
higher
a
vibration.
possibility as things and people are ready to shift and change.
Yeah.
So, you learn a certain amount in the classes, but really the essence is, are you going to do your own work every day? It's nothing hard, it's nothing challenging, but, we all know stuff we quote unquote should do, and we don't always
And
do it, right?
and that's
So
Andy and I, we talk about that all the time. And we did that podcast on shadow work, recently.
yeah,
And we talk about that a lot, is like doing that own work, and we do our own work. Like sometimes we do it together, which is how Andy and I think got connected, and why we're like, I call him my brother from my another mother. I do feel like somewhere down the line we were related. Uh, but right, Andy, like you and I have gone through that journey. We're not the best every day. We don't. Some days we're not able to, but having grace and forgiveness to ourselves, and know that there's always tomorrow, to start again. So, yeah, and I thank you for that. Like you were the one that guided me on that path, to do that. I mean, I was drawn towards you when I came and did my Reiki class there, and I don't know. I like it's changed my life too. So
yeah.
I have you to thank for that.
Nobody lives there all the time, Stacey. I always
Yeah.
say, even if you're the highest, wisest guru meditating on the top of the mountain, right? Our job is to bring it here into the world, right? We're not supposed to just be up on the mountain, right? We bring that to our daily lives, and our daily lives include challenges, lessons, right? Things that are going to knock us off our path left and right. But
Yeah.
when we learn that place of peace that's within us, we experience the contrast when we're not there. And it feels
Yeah.
so much better when we are. And we're able to handle things better when we are. So we bring ourselves back. We know how to do that, so that we can live there a little more often and stay there a little longer. And the more you do that, the more that it becomes more of your natural way of being in the world.
It does.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, Jason Combs on here, I know you don't know him. He's one of our paranormal buddies. He just says that you are amazing and that he loves you. And
Aw.
I'm going to say, Jason, yeah, he's a really good reader of energy. Jason is like, he's very good at picking up people's energy. Jason, I would recommend you going to get a session from her. I really think she's in Harrisburg. I can give you the information. I think it would be amazing, for you.
Thank you,
But
Stacey.
yeah, I just wanted to reach out to that. I wanted to give you some positive feedback there that you're getting from the crowd. Um, so Reiki of Star Wars, and this is something like when you started that class, I have since I walked in and did that first Reiki class, I have always in my own head connected Star Wars and Reiki in my own way. I don't know how you're going to describe it, but it does feel like the Force to me. I've always called it the Force, and then when you started offering that class, I was like, I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah.
So I want to see, like, can you explain that a little bit? Like, explain, like,
Well, I always got that sense too. And I started watching Star Wars, when it first came out, which was way before I learned Reiki, but I always had that kind of feeling. And so what happened was a couple years ago, I guess, they showed one of the Star Wars movies on the big screen at the Whitaker Center. And I took my son. And that's when the inspiration for this actually came to me, because the force is with you. May the force be with you.
Yeah.
It's all the same, right? And so the more that I looked into this, I realized the similarities between the Buddha and the Yoda, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I actually I brought a couple of props here, but I have this one book. It's called.
Do you have a Yoda? Oh, I thought you.
I do. Yeah, but you got to come to the workshop to see if I didn't bring that home.
I need to do the workshop.
And I have to put my glasses on to read the bottom, but it says mindful thinking from a galaxy far away. Right. And so, that's the essence of that workshop, is comparing those truths. The truth is the truth with a capital T. And there's so much that overlaps. I was just yesterday mentioning to someone, that scene where Luke goes into the forest to face his shadow self, right?
Makes his shadow self, shadow work.
And come back into this, more peaceful, balanced version of the self, where he can use the force, right? And, the force might be our intuition, right? So I actually even start that workshop. I got Star Wars affirmation cards. And so they're divided up into guidance cards, affirmation cards, and inspiration cards. And so everybody gets to choose a card. And I thought maybe if we have a moment, I could choose a card for your audience from each of those three topics. Are you good with that?
Awesome. That we would love that. Everybody, hey, if you guys would like a card, so you're like more of like a universal card, not just
I'm
individual.
just one from each.
Like a community, collective. Okay.
But
if you guys want her to pull some cards, mention some comments here. Yes,
okay.
I think that'd be great.
This one, let me show you first. Everybody see that? It says, being a leader takes hard work and sacrifice. Start simple by setting a good example and helping others every day. So that is from
Andy,
the
you're muted.
guidance cards. What's that?
I was saying, Andy, you're muted. Are you supposed to be muted? Okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'll choose one from the affirmation cards now.
Okay. I like that leadership one. I think that's appropriate.
It's a fun way to start this class. And I have some surprises I'm not going to tell you about. I want you to come to the workshop. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So let me show you. Everybody see that?
Oh, yes.
And it says, I can do it. Nothing is impossible. If I refuse to give up, eventually trying will become doing. Yeah, there is no try, right?
Yeah, there is no try. That's a Yoda thing. I always say that
right.
There's no try. There's only
And one from the inspiration deck for us. What do you all need to hear tonight? Who needs a message? Who needs some inspiration? All right, we're going to go with this one.
Oh.
Be patient. Nothing is impossible. You may be destined for great things, but reaching your goals still takes time, hard work, and determination. Patience, that's a hard one sometimes, isn't it?
Not my best attribute. So I think that card might be for me. Although I'm getting Reiki has helped me. Reiki has helped me with patience. Like that is something that Reiki has done for me, but it is still not my best attribute. I'm like, let's do it now.
Well, that's, when you get to that place, right, then it's your ego speaking. Because when you're in a connected place, you know that everything is in perfect and
Falls
divine
together.
timing. And,
Hmm.
if you don't push it your own way, you'll get the better response, the better answer, the
Yeah.
better thing that's attracted to you. That's
Like for
for you.
like for instance, last night Andy and a couple friends were doing an investigation at the orphanage in Gettysburg, and I had done an event. And I was on my way back from the event outside of Philly, and I wanted to go to the investigation, and I was like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." And Gary was like, "No, I don't want to go." Like, so it was this back and forth, and it was ego. Ego was like, "Get me in there. I want to be around my friends. I want to, it didn't flow, and it ended up not happening. And so that's like
Oh,
where that comes in. Like, wasn't meant to be. I wasn't meant to be there last night, and that's okay. I have to like accept that and realize like that just doesn't where I wasn't supposed to. It didn't flow. Exactly what you were saying. If it's meant to be, it will just flow with it.
and
Yeah.
I sometimes, one of my students wants to come to a particular class,
Hmm.
and for some reason it doesn't work for them, right? But then when they get to the class that does work, then they know exactly why they had to wait,
And the
right?
group of people that are in the
Perfect
class.
timing, right? Connected
Hmm.
with that perfect group that
Yeah.
they were meant to be with. So,
Yes.
it always works out in the longer run.
Hmm.
So, having that faith that it will is, is a challenging part in the shorter run sometimes.
Hmm.
Humanness of us, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Trying to force things sometimes really gets us.
So, we're going to spend some time in that workshop, talking about mindfulness, because that is certainly a quality that is both within those movies, as well as, on the Buddhist path, and just have some fun. I mean, this is one that's going to be just playful and enjoyable. And, I share Reiki workshops all the time, and I try to mix it up with the topics, but the essence is always the same, right?
Hmm.
The
It
truth is
is.
the truth. So,
So
yeah.
that brings us into, I know, a question that Andy had about Reiki and religion and stuff like that. So Andy, I'm gonna let you go ahead
Oh,
and
that's
ask that.
So I was asking Stacey if you would feel if she feels or any of you that are doing Reiki, if you feel that any kind of religion or faith is part of that
a good
or
one.
plays into part of that.
That is a really great question, Andy. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
So there is nothing religious about Reiki. To share it, to receive it, there's no formal dogma about it. However, for many people, it feels very connected, very guided. It puts them on what people call a spiritual path, which is
right,
different than traditional religion. And some people believe that the founder of this form of Reiki, which is called Usui Reiki, Mikhail Usui was the founder. It's considered the original pure form of Reiki. Some people believe that he started on this path to seek the enlightenment of Reiki because one of his students asked him how Jesus was able to heal people. And that always fascinates me so
interesting,
much because there's so much misconception about Reiki and religion,
right,
right? And so that's how he started his journey. And he actually did an enlightenment meditation and fast for 21 days on the top of a mountain. He didn't invent this energy. People have been sharing healing energy with their hands as long as there's been people, but
right,
he was enlightened to a way to utilize the energy in a way that doesn't drain personal energy and you don't take on other people's stuff. And that's what was unique about it. And so, it's interesting that he started that enlightenment based on that question.
that's cool.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not religious, but you just never feel alone when you do this work.
Yeah, it's to me, I am a Christian, but I know with Stacey and doing things, I get that same feeling when I'm meditating or praying, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
Almost the same feeling that I'm, because I believe you're getting in touch with yourself to be able to channel whatever is going on.
It's
And
all energy. Prayer
yes,
is
it's all
energy,
energy.
meditation is energy,
Hmm.
that highest frequency vibration that surrounds us, that we're all connected by, that
Tell
we
Stacey
all can
all the
tune
time.
into, whether you see that as nature, whether you give it a name,
Yeah.
it's something bigger than us, and that what I call divinity within us,
Right.
right?
And
You know,
that's
yeah.
being a paranormal investigator for 36 plus years. Until I actually started realizing that it is all energy, vibration, frequency. I was running around with, all these instruments that actually measure that. All this equipment
Yeah.
measures, frequency, vibration, and I think with my intent now, when I go into places and I'm trying to communicate, um, depending on where you're at, such as last night, we were in an orphanage and I'm talking like I would if I was talking to my children, you know,
Mm.
and I really believe it's the energy that you put out when you're there that you're going to receive back. And, that has seemed to work really good for me. Um,
Well, as I understand it, spiritual presence, right? People who have passed is always with us, right? It
right.
just vibrates at such a high frequency that most of us can't hear it, see it, feel it, right? And
Agree.
so the more that you do whatever work that you do that keeps your vibration up, right? The
Exactly.
more that you're going to be able to tune in and connect and hear and feel and see that guidance. So, or that, whatever it is that, the inspiration, whatever you call it,
I
right?
agree 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as for me, like that's the same thing. Like spirituality is, which you had said. I wanted to pinpoint where you had said like it's about getting in touch with self. That those
Mm.
who are spiritualists, that is more what it is like getting in touch with yourself. And sometimes we need to get in touch with ourselves to get in touch with our greater power, what the thing bigger than us. And so that's what Reiki has done for me as well. Like it's I call it spirit. Like that's connecting to me. I think you call it source a lot.
Mhm.
Source energy.
There's a lot of words that people use, sometimes the true source, sometimes the universe, some people say God, right?
Hmm.
It's the highest frequency energy that has intelligence. And
Yes.
that's how I see it and feel that connection, right?
I wanted to highlight this comment that Jason just put. That's why grounding is so important. And that isn't
Oh,
that
thank
something
you,
you worked with.
Jason.
You worked with me on that for a very long time.
Yes, and in order we're talking a lot about opening up that connection, right? Hi, honey. Hi, Audrey. Nice to see you. Right? And so, in order though to be that's called the inspiration current. Interesting, it's the same word as breathing in,
Sure.
inspiration, because healing energy comes in with our breath and comes in through our crown, right? And a lot of us can open up and feel that connection. But if you're not grounded, the grounding is called the manifestation current. That's what allows you to take the inspiration, the ideas, right? And step it forwards in a very real, lasting, and concrete way, in a way that can help the earth, help the world, and help each other. Otherwise, the ideas are going to be floating around in the ethers, and you might start something and not finish it, or, all of us can relate to this at various points in our lives.
Mhm.
But in order to, I might have had this beautiful inspiration for a Reiki center in Harrisburg, but if I wasn't grounded, that could not have become the concrete, lasting, day to day reality that it is. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the unique things that I bring to this work, having that physical therapy background, that left brain logical training, is that I can share about Reiki with anyone. and relate to them and have it be relatable if they are open to it, right? I don't get to decide that for them. But I share this with a lot of healthcare professionals, traditional businesses, in a way that is grounded and relatable.
And
So
kids.
thank you, Jason. And kids,
And
right?
I'm glad she walked
Oh,
in
I
because I
got
did
here.
look, it's Fluffy Puppy. So
And I
I'm
also
glad
have
Audrey walked in.
Reiki
Yes,
Kids Manual.
I
So
still got that. And why
That's
is your hair short and gray now?
white and
older.
White.
purple.
I have purple at the bottom. It's just that
It's
I'm
pretty.
see. Thank you. Thank you. I haven't
Mhm.
seen you in a while. So, Audrey, what do you remember from your Reiki Kids class?
Um,
Put you on the spot.
Pop quiz.
um,
Or what did you enjoy
that,
about it?
well, I enjoyed having Reiki done on me, and I enjoyed getting Reiki puppy.
Yes.
But what
Yeah.
did you remember most? Like what? Like where do you hold Reiki still today? Like how does it affect your life still today?
It helps me feel better and calmer, and I remember that Reiki energy can be flowing through the whole entire body from head to toe, and you can give Reiki on other people, animals, and animals can give it on to you.
That's right. Let me see if I can find that picture for you.
Yeah, Audrey is one of Rickie's Reiki Kids, in her Reiki Kids workshop that she does. Audrey was part of that, and it changed a lot for Audrey as well.
Are
So
we live?
we are live.
Why?
It is right there. Giving it to animals. She gives it to animals a lot. You give it to other people. I think sometimes struggles giving it to herself. But
Yeah, that's beautiful that you still remember this because that class was a few years ago for you, wasn't it? At
how
least.
old were you when you did that?
10,
11,
11, 10, 11.
And how old
So
are you
before-
now?
Go ahead.
Almost 14.
In a month.
Wow.
A
You're gonna
month
be
from
ready
today.
for Reiki 2 class soon, huh?
Mhm. Reiki too. Yeah.
So I teach Reiki to kids 5 years old and up
Oh,
because
Nice.
this is the most natural thing in the universe, right? Kids get this very easily because they don't have the filters and the resistances that we have developed through the courses of our lives and our life experiences.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's so natural for them and it's such a beautiful process, to watch. Yeah.
It
So
is.
do
It
you
is
still
very
have your
beautiful.
want
fluffy
some of
puppy?
these.
Do you still have your fluffy puppy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the
I
fluffy
still got the book too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. This actually, I completed this during COVID shutdown, another good thing that happened during that time. And this is Reiki Rickie. Whoop, there we go. Kind of a teenage version of myself and Fluffy Puppy, because I have my son's original stuffed dog from when he was a baby, and these little baby Reiki Fluffy Puppies look like him. And the intent, and so Fluffy Puppy helps share the story, and all the kids get their own Fluffy Puppy. So number one, it's a comfort tool because they're all blessed with Reiki, but also they can hold Fluffy Puppy and with the intention in their heart, share loving, healing energy with someone who's in the hospital, grandma who's not, there with them, and just in a very beautiful, simple way.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It is. It is. Because Reiki doesn't have boundaries, right? The Reiki energy.
No space
So-
and time in the energy realm.
Yep. So you can send distance Reiki to people. And I know I've done that. You've done it for me. I've done it for others. Yes.
Yes, I do that every single night as I'm going to bed, actually, because there's always someone or some world situation or my own self, that's in need of energy. And I find distance healing, which traditional medicine acknowledges, actually, they call it non-local healing. I find it very empowering to know that no matter what the circumstances, no matter where in the world, no matter, past, present, and future, I have something positive and loving to offer. Now, I can't make anyone else change. That's not my job, right? But we create when we share this work, what I call the vibration of possibility, raise that vibration. The more of us that do it, the more powerful that becomes, so that as people and world situations are ready to change, it makes it easier for them to see that light.
Yeah,
So
sending
that's
that love
how I
and
look
light. Like Andy and I talk about that often.
Yeah,
Sending
that's
that love and
beautiful.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what you're doing. Um, I like the Reiki. Like if okay, whoa, my brain. There's the ungroundedness. Um, if they wanted to do, actually, would you mind? You and I, let's do a little Reiki share. Andy,
Okay.
you can join in too. I know you're not Reiki attuned. Let's send some Reiki energy out to our audience and anybody that's watching this. Would you feel comfortable with that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So, it doesn't matter if you're Reiki attuned because
Mm.
we have this energy that flows through us
God, hands up.
every minute since we're
I'm
born,
really weak right
right?
now. I don't think I
It
can
never
do it.
stops. So all you need to do is be in the place of love and healing in your heart. Take a really deep breath. Uncross your feet so that energy can flow, that grounding energy. And just if you want to share, with us and each other, just put your hands up and breathe in that healing energy and allow it with your intention, with your thoughts, with your love to radiate from you. So let's just take quiet for a minute or two and see what we feel or notice. Remembering to smile because smiling brings in light, supports your immune system, helps to heal each other, and slowing and deepening your breath. When we consciously slow and deepen our breath, it sends the message to our brain that in this moment all is well. And the brain listens to your breath and responds by secreting the hormones that help you relax and stimulate your wellness. So even and especially when you are in the midst of a challenging situation, of a stressful time, if you can remember to consciously slow and deepen your breath, you will start to feel better. And you will come to a better place of calm where you can make better choices and better decisions. And it doesn't need to take very long, just a couple minutes of remembering what I call conscious, connected, deep breathing, breathing that energy into your being, allowing it to fill you wherever you need in this moment for your highest good, on whatever level that is. And see if you notice, if you feel just a little more settled in your being. And I invite you to now place your hands wherever you are in need on your physical body and bring the energy into you. Because like Stacey said, it always starts with you. You are worthy and deserving of receiving. Breathe in that truth. And then we can bring our hands together in a prayer position, our thumbs touching our heart. And this is the Japanese position of prayer and meditation called Gasho. And what you're doing is closing your energy circuit so that energy is flowing through you and your heart. See if you can notice that. And then sometimes you might see people bow their head and we say namaste, which means I honor the divine within you. I honor that place in you that is of light, of love, of truth, and of peace. And when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one, always connected. And so it is. I
We've lost Andy. I don't know what happened.
guess he got a little too relaxed.
No, I noticed there was something going on with his phone. His camera didn't work on his computer, so he's like, I guess I got to connect with my phone. So it's just, is Mercury retrograde? I don't think it is yet. But maybe he was
But
definitely
it's
having some
nice to be able to
malfunctions.
blame it, isn't it?
Yeah. So there was definitely some energy forces with his technology tonight. But yes. So that was wonderful. If anybody's still here and still watching, it looks like we have 4 viewers right now. So if you want to just leave in the comments how that felt for you, I would love to hear it, and I'm sure Rickie would too.
Yeah.
So I think that you also wrote a book. Do you want to plug that a little bit?
Well, I want to show it
That's
because
what I mean. Show your
I'm
book.
very,
Yes.
very proud of this. It's called Radiating Our Reiki Light,
Hmm.
Reiki Healing Through Real Stories from Clients, Students, Practitioners, and Teachers. So there's lots of books about Reiki on Amazon, and most of them are written by Reiki masters about Reiki, which is awesome, right? What it is, what are the benefits,
Hmm.
what's the science behind it, how it works, all of that. So what I've done here is collected the stories under 17 different topics, and I'll read you just a few of them. First experiences, learning Reiki, Reiki and life purpose, Reiki and kids, Reiki and grief, Reiki and work, Reiki and fertility, and on and on. So the stories fall into all these categories. And then I have done some writing in the beginning of each chapter, sharing my personal stories, but also some teachings and philosophies as well. So you're going to learn all about Reiki by hearing how it's impacted these people's lives so personally. The stories are so touching and inspirational. It's an easy read. You can just open to any chapter, just ask, what do I need to hear in this moment?
Hmm.
The stories are, relatively short. So I have that book available in Reiki Space, of course, and a few other places, local places in the area. But that book and the Reiki Kids Coloring book are both on Amazon.com, Radiating Our Reiki Light. So I'd love to hear what you think of it. I'm very, very proud of it. And who knows what's coming next, right?
I know you always have big things. Universally guided, definitely. But you
Every
always have big things. Jason's making another. I actually, Jason, I did not know you were part of Taekwondo, and I don't know if I know how to pronounce the other one, training. And he's thanking you for the thanking us for the positive energy.
Absolutely.
So yes, at Taekwondo, I guess there is a crossover there with some of those modalities.
Well, they're energy modalities, right? It's all,
Mm-hmm,
it really is all mind, body, spirit, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where can people find you? Like if they want to come to a session or a workshop or anything like that, I don't know if you could leave it in the comments, in the
Oh,
chat. I don't know if you
yeah.
can over here on the right side. I think you see the chat, right? If you could leave in
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah. Will that stay up after we're done that I can type it in?
well, it will, the chat, yes.
Okay, good. I'll
Yes,
do that when we're
or you could we can put it in. I can do a post, but it's the reikispace.com. Is that basically the website?
So my website is reikibyrickie.com. I've
Okay.
got a lot of really good information, and all my events, workshops, and classes are on there. And so if you're local to the Harrisburg area, I'd love to show you and allow you to feel the energy of the space. It's a beautiful, peaceful healing center, really unique
Mm-hmm.
because everything there, including the way the space is managed, is all based on Reiki energy and those Reiki healing principles.
Mm-hmm.
I can also share distance healing sessions. I also have a session where I share a distance healing session, place my hands on the keyboard, and a personalized message will come for you. I learned I can do that during COVID shutdown also,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really kind of fun for me as well. I'm very active on Facebook. My personal page is Rickie Merrill Freedman. My name's been up here the whole time. So
Mm-hmm.
you can connect with me there. I have a Reiki by Rickie page, but the personal page seems to get more activity for some
Yeah,
reason.
and you are tagged in the event and everything, so I think you can just click on that tag, where it's blue, and you could get on her personal page,
Yeah, I'm very
that way.
communicative, so you can
Mm-hmm.
call me,
And
text.
you also do you still do the Reiki shares?
Yes, we have Reiki shares, we have meditation, we have sound healing. I'm now a certified Reiki voice instructor. So,
I was going to mention that too.
yeah,
I
I
forgot about
actually
that.
have
Yeah.
an
Hmm.
intro to Reiki voice workshop this Wednesday evening, and the
Mm-hmm.
full day Reiki voice certification, which is just about full, which is amazing, coming on March 29th. I'll
Mm-hmm.
also be teaching that both that workshop and the certification at the Northeast Reiki Retreat up in Lake George at the beginning of May. So
Look at
that's
these big things
coming.
happening for you.
Yeah,
I
lots
just
of good
love it.
stuff happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
very, very exciting to be
Mm-hmm.
able to follow along and say yes to all these opportunities and see where things are leading. I
Yeah.
don't
Now,
want to put any of this in a box of,
yeah.
this is what I'm meant to do forever. The essence of this will always be with me, whatever I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is Reiki voice? Let's go over that real quick before we end.
So yeah,
Do you have to know how to sing?
no, it is not about singing. You do not need to be able to sing.
Which is why I've been avoiding the class, even though I
Yeah,
want to do it.
that's why the workshop would be good. That's exactly
Okay.
why I created the workshop. No,
What time Wednesday evening? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but
6:30, I believe, but I'm not looking right at that. But it is
okay.
on my website, and there's definitely space in the workshop. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's about using the vibrations of your voice to blend in with your energy
Mm-hmm.
work. So it is humming. Everybody can hum, right? I've been humming since I was a little girl, and it is now part of my healing work. It's called Reiki humming, right? Humming, toning, chanting, even the way you use your voice to speak about Reiki is
Mm-hmm.
Reiki voice as well.
And that's something that's always attracted me to you is just the way you have this very sing-songy voice. It's very soothing and comforting and just helps me feel safe and secure. And I think
Awesome.
that's why.
Yeah.
But I use humming in my Reiki, but not purposely. Like I just find myself doing it. It's when I'm
Well,
doing
that's exactly
Reiki
what I
sessions.
used to do. And here's
Okay.
what happened. Do we have a moment for me to
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have no time cut off. I
share?
just
I facilitated two healing water holistic cruises, and the first one made national news. We went in and out of Baltimore, and we had such a horrendous storm that they wouldn't let us come back to port. So we were stuck out at sea outside of Baltimore port
Oh
in this
wow.
horrendous storm. I mean, the crew was getting seasick. The furniture was, creaking around. And so
Yeah.
I was in my cabin with my roommate and very naturally started humming. And she was getting very anxious, and the humming really soothed her. So she actually named it Reiki humming. And so this has become part of my work as well. And it's something everyone can do. It's an easy
Hmm.
way to start using your voice.
Well,
So,
yeah, in yoga they have that too. Like there's the bumblebee breath
oh,
where
yes,
you
absolutely.
cover your eyes and your ears like this and you hum like a bee, like you buzz like a bee, and it's very
Yes,
soothing to the inner systems, the nervous system.
yes. Oh,
Hmm.
yes. This, stimulates your vagus nerve, and you can kind of find tones that vibrate at specific frequencies. Like if your sinuses are congested, you can kind of work your way up the scale until you feel it right there.
Hmm.
That can help loosen things up.
Oh wow.
Right. So, yeah, so I gently utilize my voice. There's some sacred names for the names of the Reiki symbols that we learn in this Reiki voice class, and that we can tone that just kind of empowers the energy. So sometimes if I'm working with someone and something's not releasing, I'll add some voice to it, and then all of a sudden it'll go. So it's very powerful work. It's a nice blend, and you don't need to be a pretty singer. It's definitely not about that. Some of the tones may not sound pretty, but they're healing, and that's
Hmm.
what we're looking for.
So I just heard from Andy, so I'm going to let everybody know.
Okay.
Apparently, in his area, everything got like someone, I guess it was maybe an accident or something. Everything,
Oh
the
no.
internet's down, the phone lines are down. He doesn't know what's going on. He
Aw.
wanted to say, "I'm so sorry. Please let you know that he is very sorry, and he didn't mean there's nothing to do with you. Just
I
something that
know.
happened there." So he does live not far from the mountains. So. Um,
And we've got some snow out there today too.
And
So
there's a lot of strong winds, so
yeah.
I'm assuming that's probably what happened to him. So it is okay. Andy, if you watch this later, like we are sending you positive energy and light, hoping that
Absolutely.
things get cleared up
Thank
soon.
you.
So Jason says you have a very opalescent aura, opalescent aura.
Ooh, that sounds pretty.
Yes, very pretty. I would say, I would
Sounds
agree
very
with
cool.
that.
I'd like to meet you sometime.
Yes, he is. I don't know him horribly well. We are just getting to know each other in the paranormal world. But we have spent some time together and he has very good energy. Very, very good energy.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
yes. And this is Andy's sister, poor Andy Andrews.
Yeah. Oh.
He will be okay. Yeah, I will message him back when we are done here. But that's awesome. It's wonderful. I do the whole Reiki voice thing. I think is it's energy too. Like sound is energy, and there's
Absolutely.
culture after culture talks about energy or sound as this healing place. Like I think in every culture there is some type of sound music that heals.
And we're going to do this in an enjoyable, comfortable way, to help people work through any of
Hmm.
those resistances and fears, because I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely cannot hold a tune.
And it doesn't matter. I would love
Uh,
you to be
I
there.
know. I actually am. I cannot do it this Wednesday. This Wednesday is my Wednesday at the winery doing readings. But if
Cool.
you do another intro to workshop, I'm going to try to make it. So
Awesome. Awesome.
So, and you guys should too. Jason, you need to come to it. Maybe you and I will go together and we'll go to one of these workshops and or something at the Reiki space, the Reiki share, and that way we can introduce you to Rickie. And I just think it's just you have this beautiful energy, and that's what drew me to you. And so I wanted you on here tonight to kind of spread this energy out to the Facebook land and YouTube land. So thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you. It's
on.
very fun, informal, playful conversation, and it's
Yes.
wonderful to connect with you. And I hope everyone has a peaceful evening and
Yes.
forward to seeing you when the time is right.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. And remember to fill your cup first because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. Have a great night.